What's up, Puck Squad? My name is Dylan Capaccioli, Team Discmania, and I'm here to show you what's in my bag today. Start off, my putting putters are these sweet Borderland stamped D-line P2s. I've been using P2s for a while now, and they're the most trusty putter that I've ever used. Next up is an Exosoft Logic. This is one of my throwing putters and long distance putters. It has a lot of glide, so I like to jump putt it from like probably outside circle 2, or if I need to really ante something because my P2 doesn't hold an ante as long. Next up is the Exosoft Tactic. This disc is great for forehands, turnover shots, or flat shots to go straight, and that's because up next, Prototype C-Line Tactic. Thanks to Simon Lazat for this. This covers all the overstable flick shots for me. It's great. I hope they make these soon again in this plastic. It's awesome. My last throwing putter is my S-Line P3X with a Borderland stamp. This is a backhand only disc. It's great for being able to trust it, to throw it hard, flat, and it will go left. Definitely one of my favorite throwing putters. Moving on to the mid-ranges, I'm gonna go from most overstable to least stable. Up first, I have this SWIRLY MD5. I use this for forehand and backhand, and just covers all overstable needs and is a great headwind fighter. Next up, I have a Glow MD4. This is quite overstable. Not as stable as the MD5, it doesn't dump like that, but it will push straight with a good fade compared to the other mids in my bag. And this is a great disc. Next we have the Iron Samurai 3. This is like my straight mid-range. I can throw it hard, flat, maybe a slight hyzer, and it just goes pretty straight. It's a great disc. I recommend you go pick one up. Next I have a Crowned Eagle MD3, and this is my least stable MD3. This is my hyzer flip mid, or my get out of jail forehand mid. Great for the woods. You can hyzer flip it however you'd like. I recommend getting a Glow MD3. Moving on to fairway drivers. Fairway drivers are my favorite disc to throw, and I have a fair amount of them. And starting off, I have a Luster FD. If you haven't thrown an FD before, they're just all around probably the most versatile fairway driver ever. For me, this one goes pretty straight. If I power on it a little, I can get a good turn. I can get it to hyzer if I throw it on hyzer. It works great. Next, I have a third tooled C-Line FD2. These are board flat. I really like them for forehands. I'd say this is kind of like my forehand FD. Like I can get it to turn or I can get it to hyzer. One of my favorite discs in my bag. Next up is the Dylan Capaccioli Essence. I've never really thrown Essences that much, but this was probably the sickest disc I got in my fundraiser series this year. I can hyzer flip this to get it to really turn late, or it's my fairway roller disc. I recommend it for all arms, beginner to pro. The Essence can work for you. I just want to give a big thanks to everyone who bought one of my fundraiser discs this year. The support truly means a lot. Maybe I'll get more next year. They sold out fast, so thank you. Next up is probably my favorite mold in my bag, and that is the FD3. I bagged 3 of them. Starting with my least stable is this Team Discmania stamped Color Glow FD3. This was from the DISCMANIAC run. These FD3s are straighter. They feel amazing, and generally I don't backhand the FD3 too much, but this is an FD3 that I do backhand a lot. They're kind of straight, but they always have a reliable fade. And for forehand, they flip up a little and are really glidey, which is nice to get a little more distance or if I need to push a straighter forehand. Next, I have another Color Glow FD3, and this is one of the first run of Color Glow FD3s. These are board flat, great for forehands. It's kind of my everyday FD3 of my workhorses. Next up, I have a Doombird 3, thanks to Q. And these are super overstable. Unfortunately, I just lost my baby. It was a Doombird 3, and I've had to replace it. And this one is brand new and stupid stable. It's gonna take a while to get back to the point where my other FD3 was, but for now, this is the very overstable FD3 in my bag. Next up, we have a Roaming Thunder 1. This is a CD2. This disc has surprised me by making my bag. I forehand it for flippy shots, and I backhand it for flippy shots. It has a good dome to it, stays in the air a long time. It's a great disc, CD2. We're moving into the control drivers. I have 2 of them. I have this S-Line PD, and I use this for backhand hyzer shots that if I put it on enough, hyzer never comes out of the hyzer, it just pushes forward on the hyzer. Or I use it for a longer FD3 forehand. We have the S-Line DD. This is one of 3 molds that, since joining Team Discmania, that has surprised me the most, along with the 3-tooled FD and the Logic. This disc has changed my game, truly. Backhands, forehands, you name it. I throw this disc a lot, and it does whatever you want it to do. It can flip, it can hyzer. My favorite disc in the bag. My favorite part. Starting with my least stable, I have this DD3 X out, thanks to Gerg, Team Tank. This disc has a good dome to it and can get a good turn when thrown hard, forehand or backhand. Love it. This DD3 I got from Keith Sykes. It has a really good dome to it. It's just pretty straight or stable if I throw it on hyzer. It's a workhorse for sure. And then we have two Cloudbreaker 1s. Thank you to Andy John for this one. It's one of the prettiest discs I've ever thrown. These two are pretty much the same stability, and I'm working them both in right now because they are like the more stable DD3s, so I can really trust them in all winds to be straighter to overstable. I like them for forehands, backhands, any shot that calls for overstability. Next, we have my last two beefcakes. They are PD2s. Starting up is this C-Line PD2. This is a disc that I reach for when I want controlled distance. I know what to do with it in every wind. If it's forehand or backhand, I know it's gonna fight, which is nice because you can trust it. And finally, we have this Eagle Command Triumph Series PD2. This is one of the most overstable PD2s I've ever thrown. This only comes out for flex shots or extreme hyzers that will still hyzer in big winds or spike hyzers, I guess. Shout out to my sponsors, Beast Disc Golf for supporting me with gear this year, and Nish Bags for getting me chalk. I always have sweaty hands, even in the winter, I don't know why, and these chalk bags have done a great job of giving me good grip. I would highly recommend checking them out. Also, huge thank you to Sunnymead Disc Golf for helping me with more tournaments this year, giving me the means to travel a little bit outside of my comfort zone. It's a huge thank you. Thank you, Rich. And finally, lastly, thank you to Discmania for sponsoring me. It truly means a lot, and I'm excited to be throwing the best plastics in the game. Thank you. Bye-bye, Huck Squad. Eat your veggies.